Honorable Speaker, Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Members of Parliament, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Good Pella morning through Olgeta. Allow me to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet, the Motu Koita people of the Port Moresby area, Daba Namona. It is a profound honor to be with you today and a privilege to be the first serving Secretary-General of the United Nations to visit Papua New Guinea. I have not been here long, but I am already deeply inspired by the majesty of your landscapes, the richness of your cultures, and the warmth of your welcome. Thank you. I am especially proud to be here as you mark 50 years of independence and to do so with you, the proud representatives of the people of Papua New Guinea. And allow me a personal observation. I was 17 years Member of Parliament, and afterwards, during 6 years and a half, I was elected Prime Minister. But in our system, the Prime Minister must suspend his seat in Parliament and be replaced by an alternate. And as we do not have in several periods a very stable democratic situation, it has happened that the President, that has no powers in governing the country, can dismiss Parliament. So our Parliament was dismissed several times, and 7 times I had to be elected. And this creates me an enormous admiration for the distinguished members of this Parliament, because it was relatively easy for me when elected to go to my constituency during my mandate. But I know for many of you, you have to be working with the people of constituencies that are very far away, in very remote locations, but keep the strong meaning of the democratic connection between the people and the members of Parliament. Congratulations on your very strong commitment. And allow me to say that I feel doubly at home being here. First, I feel at home because of the warm welcome that I received. I was deeply grateful yesterday because of the very warm and fraternal way I was received. But the second reason is because I was myself, for the largest period in my different functions in life, member of a Parliament. So if you allow me, Your Excellencies, I ask you to allow me to call you dear colleagues. You are my one-talks. Papua New Guinea is a country of tremendous diversity, a land of over 800 languages and countless traditions. And yet, you have a shared commitment to speak with one voice, to having one talk for peace, for dignity, and for progress. You are the champions of multilateralism and international solutions, and that spirit is urgently needed in our world today. Honourable Members of Parliament, we meet at a time of global turmoil. Progress against poverty has stalled. Barbarous conflicts unfold on live stream. The climate crisis is accelerating, with extreme weather and rising sea levels threatening communities around the globe, affect the people of Papua New Guinea know all too well. Geopolitical tensions, runaway technologies, growing inequalities, and shrinking democratic space have converged into a volatile new global reality. In the face of these storms, Papua New Guinea offers a number of powerful lessons to the world. The first is the art of forging consensus through dialogue. For the past half century, you have worked to have a single nation, out of many traditions, many islands, many tongues. One people, one nation, one country. Of course, that task is not easy, but you are determined to move forward step by step. Last Saturday marked the 25th anniversary of the Bougainville Peace Agreement. This conflict left deep scars, but for more than 2 decades, Papua New Guinea and Bougainville have stayed the course of peace. You have shown the world the path of healing through dialogue, perseverance and mutual respect. Tomorrow, Bougainvillians will cast their votes in the 5th autonomous election since the agreement. I would like to salute the President of Bougainville, who is with us here today. Thank you for your commitment to these noble efforts. The Melanesian Agreement, signed in June, exemplifies both parties' willingness to engage in the difficult conversations, and the United Nations has been honored to be part of this process. Our Peacebuilding Fund has supported weapons disposal, the 2019 referendum, and the work of the independent moderator in a close partnership with the governments of Bougainville and Papua New Guinea. We are also proud to work in partnership with women, youth and civil society throughout Bougainville. Your continued dialogue offers a model to other countries, and I am confident that the next phase will deliver a lasting resolution to the mutual benefit of all. Papua New Guinea's newly adopted National Prevention Strategy further affirms your commitment to ending violence for all. I look forward to visiting the Highlands tomorrow, where the Peacebuilding Fund, together with the UN Country Fund, is investing in your efforts to resolve conflict, engage youth, and support internally displaced people. Papua New Guinea is a dynamic partner. Our efforts together include everything from advancing healthcare to sustainable agriculture, providing life-saving assistance to those impacted by landslides, and collaborating on anti-corruption trainings for public services and the judiciary. You understand that success is not measured in economic growth alone, but by delivering for those hardest to reach. To reduce inequalities, expand opportunity, ensure safety and security, and leave no one behind, we are with you every step of the way. The United Nations has not an agenda in Papua New Guinea. Our agenda is to support the government and the people of Papua New Guinea according to your strategies, according to your policies, and according to the decisions you take in relation to the development of your country. Excellencies, honourable parliamentarians, the second lesson you offer to the world is bold climate action. Time and again, we have seen climate leadership flow not from countries with the most wealth and power, but from those who know the stakes firsthand. The Pacific Islands are ground zero for the impacts of climate change, and Papua New Guinea is home to 2 out of the 3 Pacific citizens. You are also home to 7% of the world's biodiversity and some of the largest coral reefs and rainforests of the planet. We must be ever vigilant in safeguarding these crucial ecosystems, and we have made the case that national protection deserves global support. You have emphasized that climate change is a driver of poverty and been a strong moral voice for climate finance. This is my first trip to the Pacific since the landmark advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice, in which the region played a central role. That opinion affirms that addressing the climate crisis is a legal obligation under international law, and it builds on your pioneering work on sea level rise as part of the Pacific Island Forum. and is a testament to the leadership of Papua New Guinea, Melanesia, and the wider Pacific region, particularly your young people, who make up 60% of your population. Your voice will be integral again during the annual UN Climate Conference in Belém, Brazil. The 1.5-degree limit is in jeopardy. The science tells us it is still possible, but we do not have a moment to lose. The clock is ticking for countries to submit their new national climate plans, or NDCs. And these plans offer the chance to plot a just transition and seize the opportunities of the renewables revolution. They must align with 1.5-degree limit as promised, cover all emissions across the entire economy, and accelerate the transition away from fossil fuels. We must push all countries to deliver. Papua New Guinea does not contribute to climate change. You are even a carbon sink country. And so, it's particularly the G20 who together account for 80% of global emissions that have a special responsibility in the present moment. And they must present their new plans at a special event I will host in New York later this month, fully aligned with the objective of keeping 1.5 degrees as the limit of global warming. And we must also push for a step change on climate finance. And this includes significantly increased contributions to the new fund for responding to loss and damage, including from innovative sources. Allow me again to tell you a remarkable true story that shows how difficult it is to force developed countries to commit with their resources to our common goal in climate action. When the Loss and Damage Fund was formed was decided in the COP in Dubai, there was a first pledging conference. The amounts pledged, especially by developed countries, were equivalent to the contract of the best played American basketball player. And that shows that indeed a lot must be done to make the Loss and Damage Fund a reality, able to support countries like yours. We must tell developed countries that this is not the time for petty contributions. We must find innovative forms of financing, putting levies on fossil fuels, putting levels on transportation, doing maritime transportation, doing other forms of collecting funds, but we absolutely must create the conditions for a country like yours to have the necessary resources to face the negative impacts of climate change. And you can count with the voice of the UN to be entirely at your side. I look indeed for your continued strong leadership in New York, in Brazil, and beyond. And developed countries must honor their promises to double adaptation finance by this year and deliver 300 billion a year by 2035. Adaptation is for us today a fundamental priority. Obviously, we must reduce emissions. We must have a drastic reduction in emissions now. But we cannot forget that people is already suffering the impacts of climate change. And when we see the sea level rising, when we see the impact on glaciers, when we see the impact on coral reefs, we understand the impact on populations, namely in coastal areas. We understand the need to have a much stronger solidarity internationally to support a country like yours, to build the necessary infrastructure, to build the necessary mechanisms to increase the resilience to resist the dramatic impacts of climate change. And we are in total solidarity with Papua New Guinea to tell the international